It was the night that Jesus was betrayed, just before he went to the cross to die. So what Jesus and his disciples did is they went to the Garden of Gethsemane so that Jesus could pray.
He was about to do something which no one had ever done before, and it was a bit scary for him.
And so Peter, James, and John are with him, and they're really, really tired. And Jesus says, hey, you guys wait right here. I'm going to go pray. And then Jesus comes back, and he finds them sleeping. He asks them, he says, hey, guys, can you please stay awake? So he goes to pray again, and they fell asleep again. And then he just leaves, and he goes off to pray.
Jesus was praying in the garden, and he was in agony. And I think a lot of it had to do with all of the sin that he took on, and it became a burden. He felt that burden for the first time.
You see, all of the mistakes that we make, all of the bad things that we do, they have a consequence. They tear us away from knowing God. Every time we sin is just a word for all of our mess, all the bad stuff we do. Every time we sin, it has a consequence. And that sin can't be ignored by God. It has to be taken care of.
As Jesus is praying, he begins to tremble because of the pain that he knows he's about to experience.
He was sweating blood, and that's how stressed he was.
It's one of the first times in the Bible that we see Jesus completely stressed out. In this last moment, the last night before going to the cross, to have the entire sin of the world put on his shoulders, he understood how painful, how terrible this crucifixion would be.
And while he's in there suffering and facing all this agony and sweating literally drops of blood, some of his three really, really close friends are outside asleep. This board graphic is more than just some picture on the bottom of the skateboard. It's depicting a story when Jesus was at one of his lowest moments.
And what Jesus was doing was trying to put us back together with God. If you sin, you need to face the consequence of that. When he was praying in the garden, he was talking to God, and he was saying, is there no other way for people to know you again? Is there no other way for me to put them back together with you? And God said, there is no other way. You need to die in their place.
But what God did is he sent an angel to Jesus to minister to him, to tell him, set your eyes on the joy before you. Because the joy that Jesus was looking forward to after all the pain was the relationship that he was going to have with you and me, was the fact that we would have the opportunity to live with him for all eternity. That's why he said yes. That's why at the end he said, not my will, but your will be done.
Love is depicted through sacrifice, and through the sacrifice that God made by giving his one and only Son so that we can be forgiven. Because of that, we experience intimacy with God. We experience life and fullness and love and restoration, and we don't deserve it at all.